What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different than my normal content, and I know that I try to post 2 times a week and I haven't posted in about a little over a week, maybe exactly a week, I'm not too sure, but I haven't had it in me to just sit down and film a video and talk about shoes or clothing, because that's primarily what my channel is about. If you don't know who I am, I do videos on sneakers, fashion, streetwear, things like that, but this video is very important for me to make as well. And I thought about, why should I post this, and is there a reason for me? Because my platform's really not that big. I know it's important to use your platform and use your voice, but I was like, I have 50 subscribers, what's really the point? And then I realized it doesn't matter if you have 50 or if you have 50,000. I have been very active on all my social media platforms, on my Twitter and Instagram, very active on those. I went to a protest, I have donated, I have signed petition after petition just to help out and do my part, and shared those. We all have a voice and we all need to use it, no matter how far your reach is. I reach more people on my Twitter and social media than I do here, but anybody could see this video. It's out in the public, and it's important to speak up on these issues, because that's the main problem. If you're white, you could easily ignore this, but that's living into your privilege. Racism is something you can't just ignore. A black person, they can't ignore it. They live it. It's their reality. They've known it their whole lives. They're taught it at a young age. And it's important white people educate those around them. That's what I've been doing. It's one thing to be non-racist, and it's a completely other thing to be anti-racist. And I feel like a lot of people have been talking about that right now, and that is the most important message here, is learning what being anti-racist is. You personally can be non-racist, but what really counts is being anti-racist. That's what's gonna affect people. That's what's gonna hit home. If you hear your friend saying something that is inappropriate, that is racist, you have to call them out. We can't just keep letting it go. We have to hold each other accountable. Yourself, your friends, your family, random people you see saying this stuff, let them know that that's not okay. And if they want to be ignorant enough to not care, hopefully one day it'll get into their heads that it's not okay, and keep letting them know. And honestly, if someone close to you in your life is doing that, get rid of them. You don't need them in your life. If it's a family member, it doesn't matter. There are things more important than your racist uncle, your racist grandpa, I don't know, whoever it is, I don't know. But if you've tried to educate them and they don't care to listen, you don't need that in your life. Now, educating, I think, is very, very, very important. When you tell them these things are wrong, do it in a way where they can learn. And it's sad that they don't know. Especially if they're older than you, they should know. But sometimes people don't. From what I've noticed and what I've seen personally on my social media accounts, mainly my Facebook, because my Facebook has a lot of people I went to high school with, middle school with, and people that I don't really know super well at all, but I've known the name and I added them when I was like 13. And I'm from a very small town in Ohio. It takes a lot for you to learn these things and understand these things, because no one teaches us this stuff when I was in school, at least for me. When we learn about civil rights and slavery, you think, oh, it's over, racism is done. And it's not. And that's easy coming from people from a town where majority of it is white people. That's all I've ever known. I did not have my first black professor or teacher until I was a sophomore in college. The first teacher I had that was a person of color was my freshman year of college. My entire schooling was at the same school district, and not one person of color in the whole school. I don't know, every single teacher there is white, from elementary all the way through high school. That is not good. Educating is important. We need police reform and we need education reform, because the way you are taught these things is not good. It is part of the problem, and it needs to change as well. Especially for me, seeing these things on Facebook. People say all lives matter, and if you are watching this and you believe all lives matter, you probably haven't made it this far. But if you have, let me talk to you about that real quick. Everyone's been talking about it, but it's important to know that yes, you are correct, all lives do matter, but they're the community right now that needs our help and that we need to stick up for. If you're white, let's use our privilege to help them out. Use your voice. Like I said, I'm a very small channel. I don't really have a group that I feel like I have to address. And this should be a conversation you don't feel like you have to do, that you'll get canceled if you don't. This should be something you want to do. You should want to educate people, teach them of these wrongful things, make sure they are aware of these things going on. And people that can easily ignore this or just continue on with their lives and act like nothing really matters because it didn't affect them personally are not the kind of people I want to associate with. And you shouldn't want to either. You should call them out, let them know that they can't just be non-racist, they have to be anti-racist. They need to educate people, they need to tell people when they're wrong, they need to call people out when they're racist, they need to be vocal. Like, you gotta care less about what people are gonna think, and don't care what they think. If they don't agree with what you're saying, when you say Black Lives Matter and you're afraid that if you say that people aren't gonna follow you anymore, you should not care. Why would you want them to? I don't care if a future employer sees my Twitter and sees that it's all in support of Black Lives Matter and they don't want to hire me. I don't want to work for that company anyway, so I don't care if they see it. And that's how we all need to be. We need to actively sign petitions, donate money if you have the means. If you don't have the money, then there is a YouTube video that the creator made that is streaming of Black music, Black art, things of that nature, and all proceeds from the ad revenue of it will be going to, all 100% will be going to an organization to help Black Lives Matter. And that's one way to do it. I'll try and link a description, and I'll link petitions to sign, I will link channels to watch, or I'll link accounts to follow, and places to donate if you're able, and petitions to sign, all of those things in the description, so that you're able to fully take action. Because it's one thing just to hear it from me, but it's another thing to listen to the people who are in this community. Listen to your Black friends, listen to Black people that you may not know that are on social media. Listen to what they have to say, because they're the ones trying to get this message across. They've been trying to get this message across for years, and this has to change. It starts with police brutality, starts with education reform, starts with completely changing our system. And our system's not broken, it was built this way. We are a country built on slavery, so everything has to change. And I've seen a lot of people on my Facebook, like I said, from being from a predominantly white town, I see the most ignorant things ever. And one of the biggest things for me is educating. If people didn't tell me, like, hey, that's wrong, or hey, this is the reality, then people aren't gonna learn. What really helped me is getting out of this town. When I went to college, I moved to a little bigger city, and there's culture, there's diversity, there's different groups of people, different religions. I'm not surrounded just by white Christians, and that's predominantly what this city is, and they're comfortable with that. And you need to not be comfortable. You need to get out of your comfort zone and really learn. And most of the people that I see that are saying ignorant things are people that have not left this town. They're people that have never lived anywhere else, and they're stuck in their bubble. What they see is going to be a lot different than what other people see. I will never experience racism, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me directly. Let me get that clear. It never ever will. But I don't want to just watch it keep happening and not speaking up about it, because it needs changed. It needs changed. That's why when we say Black Lives Matter and people say, well, no, all lives matter, they're just being ignorant. They don't understand that this community needs everyone's help, and that's what matters. All lives won't matter till Black Lives Matter. I've seen a lot of people in response say, well, police kill white people, innocent white people all the time. But that wouldn't be all over the news, because that doesn't fit the media, or doesn't fit the narrative. And yeah, it happens. There's videos of police officers killing innocent white people, innocent people of any color. And that's what I'm saying. We need police reform, 100%. There are police officers that just abuse their power despite who you are. But look at the statistics. Thank you for showing me a video of one white person, and you can show me a few more. That's not going to mean anything when you look at how many more people it affects in the Black community. It by far affects people in the Black community more than the white community. Yes, white people are victims of police brutality, but not near as high the rates of Black people. I have seen stories of 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds being told the craziest things that I would have never been told as a child when leaving the house in public about specifically police and how they're going to treat them, that we will never experience. The statistics show that it affects black people way more than it does white people. So when you say, well, it affects our community too, you're saying, well, all lives matter too. What about people that are white that are getting harmed? And most of those people also are on the back the blue and blue lives matter too. So they really don't make sense. And realize that it is a police officer issue and it affects the black community more. So that is why that's our focus. I don't know how many times it's going to take us to say all lives won't matter until Black Lives Matter. The perfect example was the, well, what viral was the post about if a house is on fire and the fire department comes in, you say, well, what about my house? And they say, well, your house matters too, yes, but it's not on fire. That is the perfect example. Your house is important, but your house is not on fire. You just have to open your eyes and see it, but it doesn't affect them personally. And a lot of these people are very self-centered, and that's why we have to keep calling them out, showing them, teaching them. And yeah, it's annoying that they're never going to learn, but if we keep calling them out, then maybe they will. So I guess more of the story is, if you're a white person and you're more comfortable saying, no, I'm not going to say anything when someone makes a racist comment because they're your friend or they're your relative. That's the issue. You need to call it out. You need to educate them. Tell them why it's wrong. We can't let people keep getting away with this. Do it in a kind way. Maybe they don't know, especially if they're a little younger, if they're a teenager. Explain to them why it's wrong, and if they're going to keep doing it, just remove yourself from them, no matter who it is. We can't keep associating with people that aren't going to be actively anti-racist. It's our time for all of us to come together and be vocal and make a change. Not just demand a change. If you look at what's going on in this world, change is going to be happening. Change is going to happen. There were protests in every single state, all 50 states, and even worldwide. It's been a while since every single state has protested together at the same time, because there's a lot of states with very few people and they showed up, whether it was just 10 people or a huge city. I was at a protest that was very small in my small hometown, and I've never seen a protest happen here. I know some of the biggest ones were the Women's March and the March for Our Lives that were worldwide known. Those marches, they didn't happen here. This is a small town. It does not happen here. And this happened here because people are demanding change, and we are going to get that change, and we need to be the voices that get the change, no matter who you are. I know I'm a small channel. I'm an up-and-coming YouTuber. I don't really have a platform, but all of my voices can be heard, no matter how small. You could have 5 Twitter followers. You could have 5 million. Use your voice, no matter who it's going to reach. This could reach a lot of people. This could reach 5 people. I don't really care, as long as my voice is out there and I am being active to change our system. Police brutality needs to end. We need police reform. We need education reform. But number one priority is police reform now. The system has to change for this to change. And I think that all these riots and protests, despite your opinions on looting and all of that, that is very expected to happen with riots like these. These are people's lives at stake. This is a big deal. This is natural to happen during riots. It's happened many times in history, and that's what gets change. By any means necessary, like Malcolm X said. This was important for me to talk about because I'm very open on all my other platforms, and up-and-coming creators, like, you have to talk about it too, whether you only have 50 subscribers, 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, whatever small amount you think should open up and talk about it, because if we're putting our voices out there, yeah, it's not reaching as many people as top creators, but it's still important to say and important to talk about, and not just because you feel like you have to for your fan base. It has to be authentic for it to be real. And I know people need a distraction, and posting regular content is still good at times like this, but it didn't feel right for me just to post something, just to have something out there to keep my streak or keep my 2 times a week. And I'll post this whenever I get it edited and up, whether I usually post Wednesdays and Saturdays. This probably won't be either of those days, but it could be. And I had 2 videos filmed previously before the murder of George Floyd, and it just felt wrong just uploading those without saying anything. So I wanted to film this and get this out there. And I was kind of all over the place because I'm not the best at vocalizing these kind of things. It's kind of, I'm not used to like sitting down and filming a video like this because it's my first time doing it. It's one thing to type it all out, and I did type kind of what I wanted to talk about. I don't even know if I even got through all of what I want to talk about. It comes with time, just learning how to vocalize these things. But get out of your comfort zone, do things that make you uncomfortable, and create the change you wish to see. If you do have questions or you want to talk more, let me know in the comments and we can have an open discussion about this. And I will link channels, accounts to follow, petitions to sign, and things like that. I do have other content that I will be posting, my typical content, clothing hauls, sneaker videos and reviews that'll be coming, and some that I film. And I will get back on my schedule now, but it did take me some time to want to be able to create again because I was really focused on what's happening in the world, and there are bigger things that happen sometimes than just sitting down and talking about a shoe, and I didn't feel right. But I did want to sit down and kind of vocalize my thoughts because I don't do that very much just to a camera. This is the first time doing it, and it's a lot different than just stuck in your head, and attempting to vocalize how you really feel can be kind of hard and finding the right words. But that's really all I had to say. Like I said, if you have anything you want to talk about, just let me know in the comments. I hope you guys did learn something or enjoyed it, and I'll get back with my regular content soon for you guys. Thank you for watching if you did all the way through. I'll see you guys next video. Bye.